Hey, you guys, happy Thursday, almost through the week here. And we are back for another discussion or I guess myth busting session on the 5 myths, or not the 5 myths, 5 myths about thyroid health and how we can maybe dispel those a little bit and set some truth instead of maybe some misconceptions or misunderstandings that are out there. So just wanted to, as always, introduce myself. My name is Jennifer. I'm a registered dietitian, and I help women with hypothyroidism who are struggling or trying to conceive to nourish their thyroid and nurture their possibility of becoming pregnant and conceiving naturally and with a food as medicine lifestyle to just support not just your thyroid, but your whole body wellness. So we've talked a few days this week already about some myths surrounding thyroid health. The first one we talked about was in terms of Brazil nuts and selenium content. Some people use Brazil nuts daily to get their selenium. And we talked about why that's maybe not the best way to rely on a supplement in a way to get that nourishing nutrient that your thyroid needs. And then we set the record straight a little bit with TSH and how it's a great marker, but it's certainly not the only one when it comes to testing and evaluating your thyroid. It's not really a measure of how your thyroid's working. It's a measure of how your brain is signaling your thyroid. So it's a little bit of a secondary measure when it comes to directly evaluating thyroid health. And then yesterday we talked about adding a lot of those vegetables back to your plate that maybe you've either been missing or heard that are not welcome when it comes to hypothyroidism. And those are those cruciferous vegetables, kale, broccoli, cauliflower. We talked about how to include those without the detrimental effects that can be from what's called those goitrogens in those foods. And today we are talking probably about one of my favorite ones. Not that these all aren't great and important, but this one certainly just combines my passion and the element of what I'm here to do and why I'm here to help people. And that is the myth of if I have if I have hypothyroidism in whatever way, if it's just a general hypothyroidism, if it's related to Hashimoto's, if I have that condition, I can't get pregnant. And that is just simply not true. So we're going to talk about why is that not true? Is it hard? Yes. It makes pregnancy and it makes conception more difficult just because your body is challenged in a way that gives it a little bit reason to say, hey, I don't know that things are safe around here. And so we have to kind of overcome that. And so let's talk about ways that we certainly want to try to optimize your thyroid health. I'm going to touch on this a little bit tomorrow too and what we're going to talk about. So I'll just kind of set the scene here with a few things. But one of the things that's very heavily relied upon, obviously when evaluating your thyroid health, is your labs. And if your labs are on paper normal, it's kind of like, well, I don't know, it must be something else. And so we kind of get dismissed. And we talked Tuesday about why TSH, when we're just looking at that, why even when that's normal, it can be actually a cover-up for a lot of other things that aren't, and why we must look deeper at some of those thyroid numbers if we're talking about labs. You know, that your thyroid is this safety mechanism for you, and it signals, or rather, when you're trying to conceive, if your thyroid is under-functioning and it can't support you metabolically, it's going to signal to your reproductive system that, hey, we cannot support another life, so system shutdown. So it's kind of this feedback mechanism that when your thyroid is not functioning and your metabolism, your energy production, there's this big pathway, your hypothalamus, your pituitary, your adrenals, and your reproductive as well. When those are getting these messages of kind of danger, they signal to the others to say, hey, watch out. And one of those that gets the signal kind of loud a lot is your reproductive system, because again, your body wants to keep you safe. And if for some reason that's challenged in any way, it certainly wants to tell your reproductive system that, hey, it's not safe right now, and I don't think it's a great time to try to support another life. So that's the kind of the root of why when hypothyroidism is a diagnosis, or whether it's a hidden diagnosis, undiscovered or discovered, makes pregnancy a challenge. So really one of the cures for that many people go is to medication, and let's just do more medication. Let's get that TSH under control. And again, so many hidden reasons why that thyroid health can still be suffering without, even when you are addressing something like medication and looking at levels of T4, T3, TSH. And that's really what I help people focus on, is that whole element of lifestyle nourishment. It's not just labs. It's not just food. It's this whole body picture of who are you and what's making you perform this way and function this way. We look at a lot of lifestyle elements. We look at things like nutrient deficiencies, whether we do labs to test those or not. Some things can kind of be suspected, and so we'll kind of hone in on those. We talked Monday about selenium and how important that is for your thyroid, and if you're not supplementing that in a regular fashion, how that can kind of mess with those conversions that your thyroid does. B vitamins are super important. Some other things, iron, ferritin. So we really kind of hone deep on not just what does a lab value say, but what is your lifestyle? What is your intake? What does all this say about you? And how could we maybe supplement, not just with another pill, but with food, and how do we optimize that? Another thing that I help people look at is maybe some gut imbalances. When your GI system is off, I know this is kind of a catchphrase lately, your gut health and your gut microbiome, right? Well, it's so important because that's about 70 to 80% of your immune system. And if your immune system is kind of off, and we're fighting this fight, which we'll talk about again when we get to inflammation in just a sec. But when we've got these bacterial imbalances, whether it's too much good, not enough good, pathogens, everything from virus to fungal organisms, things like that are off. Again, we just have this environment that the body senses as kind of a war zone. And it's so focused on attacking that and fighting that and trying to keep you safe and overcome it for you, that it sees another life or reproductive possibility as probably something that's not in the cards. And so again, there's that kind of shutdown mechanism or just signaling to say, hey, probably not a good time. Another thing, like I just alluded to, is inflammation. Again, sometimes a catchphrase lately, inflammation and whole body inflammation and all of this. Well, it is truly such a big deal in a way. And if you do have Hashimoto's, obviously you're kind of in tune to that, because inflammation, it's autoimmune disease. Your body has become inflammation has kind of crossed a line to where your body has to keep fighting and fighting, and then it begins to attack itself. And in this case, thyroid becomes one of them. And that's why I remember Hashimoto's is not at its root a problem with your thyroid. It's a problem with your immune system that's gone rogue, that your thyroid becomes the victim of attack. And now we have an injured thyroid. So Hashimoto's doesn't even always start out as a thyroid problem. It can stem from just a different kind of inflammation that ends up attacking the thyroid. So PCOS, that's another inflammatory at its root condition that many women who are struggling with, again, hypothyroidism or even infertility, struggling to conceive, become diagnosed with. And so that's something that by doing either if we do testing, if we do some food sensitivity work, if we do some type of elimination diet, just to reset, this is not long term, but we do some work to reset your system, just to kind of turn that volume way, way, way down on the inflammation, to tell your body, again, it needs that message. I am safe. It is a safe atmosphere. It is a safe environment, not only to sustain her life, but to give life to another. So when we've got things like inflammation gone rogue, gut imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, things like that, those become signals to your body that maybe things aren't the safest. Another really important one that I focus on in my lifestyle element is sleep. So many people dismiss this. Sleep is a nutrient. You fuel your body with great food, you drink good water and fluids, and sleep, think about it as something that that you're eating, you're consuming, and your body needs that to regain its, to restore itself during the night, to kind of get rid of the things it doesn't want, and to regenerate and refuel on the things that it does need to keep. So nourishment to me, I know I've said it before and I'm going to say it here again because it is such my signature path that I take with people. It is not at the end of a fork. That's one element. We focus on nutritional nourishment. Of course, there's the food element, relational nourishment, spiritual nourishment, emotional, mental, and physical nourishment. So exercise, physical movement. It doesn't even have to be high stress exercise. In fact, for women trying to conceive and with thyroid issues, that's not the greatest exercise. So we work on restorative exercises to, again, help the body reset. Tell me I'm safe. Tell everything inside it's safe. And you can not only sustain me, but another life within me. So again, looking at that whole body picture of when you do have hypothyroidism and that path to conception becomes difficult, and maybe we're just looking at those lab numbers and trying to push that TSH down, get it under 2, get it under, whatever, 1.5, wherever your physician wants, which is key. We really want that TSH between 1 and 2 for optimal pregnancy and conception. And when you become pregnant and as you go throughout your pregnancy, those levels have to be adjusted all throughout. So checking becomes very routine. And anyway, we talk through all of that, but it's not just about a lab number. It can't be. That's one element of you, but it's certainly not just the only thing we want to focus on. So that's what I wanted to bring to you today is when you have a condition like hypothyroidism, whether it's just a subclinical or diagnosed by the labs, or even to the point of Hashimoto's, like an autoimmune diagnosis, pregnancy is not impossible. It is challenging. It becomes challenging, and that's why working with practitioners, with physicians who are skilled in that, and with other practitioners who utilize more than just one element of you to optimize your health, your nourishment in all kinds of ways, that kind of whole body, whole picture of you, it becomes less challenging. And so that's what I just love working with women on, and just a passion for. So as always, if you have questions, please feel free to message me, whether it's here, whether via email. I'll post my email here too in the comments. My email is nutrition@jenniferzucconi.com. So pretty easy. And then my website is my name as well, jenniferzucconi.com. You can check out a little bit more there, or always feel free to get in touch with me here or any way else you see fit. So, all right, guys, we are back tomorrow with number 5, the last one of this week, and we will cap it off with a good one and kind of another all-encompassing one. So you guys go have a wonderful day, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Okay, bye everyone.